The galaxy had thousands of stories. Some were true. Most were forgotten. But one story refused to disappear. It spoke of humanity's greatest warship. People called it the Last Guardian. Old books claimed that whenever humanity faced complete destruction, the giant warship would appear from the darkness and change the fate of the battle. It was said to be stronger than any fleet ever built. Some believed it could destroy an empire without losing a single ship. But no one had ever seen it. As the years passed, the story became nothing more than a fairy tale. Teachers laughed when students asked about it. Military officers called it impossible. Even many humans believed it had never existed. Far across the galaxy, the powerful Dominion Empire prepared for war. Their endless fleet moved toward Earth like a black storm. Thousands of warships filled the space between the stars. Every nearby civilization watched with fear. They believed humanity had no chance to survive. Inside the Dominion flagship, Supreme Commander Varric smiled as he looked at Earth on the giant screen. "They still believe an old legend will save them," he said with a laugh. "Legends do not win wars." His officers laughed with him. On Earth, the mood was very different. Human ships gathered around the planet, but everyone knew the numbers were against them. Pilots checked their fighters. Engineers worked without rest. Families watched the skies, hoping for a miracle. Deep below Earth's oldest military base, an elderly admiral stood before a huge steel door that had never been opened during his lifetime. He slowly placed his hand on an ancient scanner. A cold computer voice filled the silent room. "Emergency level confirmed. Awakening the Last Guardian." The ground began to shake. Far beyond the edge of known space, something enormous opened its glowing eyes. The legend that nobody believed had just awakened. The Dominion fleet moved closer to Earth every minute. Thousands of warships formed a dark wall across space. Their weapons were ready. Their commanders expected an easy victory. Supreme Commander Varric stood proudly on the bridge of his flagship. "Send the final warning," he ordered. A message reached every human ship. "Surrender now, or Earth will disappear before this day ends." No answer came. The silence made the Dominion officers laugh. "They have accepted their defeat," one captain said. But deep inside Earth's command center, nobody looked afraid. The elderly admiral watched a single screen. It showed only one blinking light far beyond the edge of the galaxy. The light was moving, slowly, steadily. Every second it came closer. Then every radar station across human space received the same strange signal. It was not a voice. It was not a warning. It was only one ancient code. "Guardian, returning." Human officers looked at each other in complete silence. No one spoke. No one smiled. They simply waited. At the same moment, Dominion scientists noticed something impossible. A massive object had suddenly appeared on their long-range scanners. Its energy was greater than an entire battle fleet. The speed broke every known law of physics. But there was one problem. No telescope could see it. It was there, yet it was invisible. Commander Varric frowned for the first time. "Identify that object." The computer answered only one line. "Unknown vessel. No matching record found." Varric clenched his fists. "No ship can hide from the Dominion. Send 3 scout cruisers." The cruisers rushed into deep space. Minutes later, every signal from the 3 ships disappeared at exactly the same second. No distress call. No explosion. Nothing. Only silence. Then, across every military screen in the galaxy, one new contact appeared. A single warship. The size was beyond imagination. And beneath its unknown symbol, one name slowly appeared. The Last Guardian. The name The Last Guardian spread across the battlefield within seconds. No one moved. No one spoke. The giant warship floated in complete silence. It was unlike anything the galaxy had ever built. Its dark metal surface carried no Empire's symbol. There were no visible guns, no missile ports, and no glowing engines. It looked ancient, yet it felt alive. Inside the Dominion flagship, Supreme Commander Varric stared at the giant screen. "This is a trick," he said. "A ship without weapons cannot stop my fleet." His officers quickly agreed. Destroy it. More than 500 Dominion warships turned toward the mysterious vessel. Their heavy cannons fired together. Thousands of blue energy beams crossed space, bright enough to light the stars. Every civilization watching the battle expected the unknown ship to disappear. But something impossible happened. Just before the attacks reached the Guardian, the light simply faded away. Every beam vanished. Not one explosion, not one mark appeared on the giant warship. Silence returned. Confusion spread across the Dominion bridge. Our weapons disappeared, one officer whispered. Fire again, Varric shouted. A second attack followed, then a third. The result was exactly the same. The Guardian did not move. It did not defend itself. It simply waited. Across Earth, human civilians watched the live broadcast with tears in their eyes. The old stories were real. The fairy tale had become history. Then, for the first time, the ancient warship spoke. Its deep voice echoed through every ship in the galaxy. Threat level confirmed. Guardian Protocol 1 activated. Without firing a single shot, the Guardian released a silent wave across the battlefield. Every Dominion weapon system shut down at once. Warning lights covered every enemy bridge. Missiles failed. Cannons stopped. Shields collapsed. The most powerful fleet in the galaxy had become helpless. Commander Varric's face turned pale. Before anyone could understand what had happened, the Guardian slowly turned toward the heart of the Dominion fleet. And one enormous section of its armor began to open. The Guardian's massive armor slowly opened. Every screen across the galaxy focused on the ancient warship. No one knew what would appear. Inside the Dominion flagship, fear replaced confidence. Supreme Commander Varric shouted, "Restore the weapons! Do something!" Engineers worked as fast as they could. Nothing responded. Every system remained frozen. Then a bright white light appeared inside the Guardian. It was not a cannon. It was not a missile launcher. It looked like a small star glowing inside the ship. The light became brighter every second. Scientists from dozens of civilizations watched in disbelief. One old alien professor suddenly stood up. His hands were shaking. "I've seen this symbol before," he whispered. "It belongs to the first human war, over 1,000 years ago." His students stared at him. "I thought those records were destroyed." "They were," the professor replied. "That is why everyone believed the Guardian was only a myth." Back on the battlefield, the Dominion fleet finally regained a few engines. Hundreds of ships tried to escape. They were too late. The Guardian released a single beam of pure white light. It did not explode. It did not burn. It simply passed through space. Where the beam traveled, Dominion warships stopped moving one by one. Their weapons turned into dust. Their shields vanished. Their engines became silent. Within seconds, nearly half of the invasion fleet was drifting helplessly through space. Not a single human ship had fired a shot. The galaxy watched in complete silence. Commander Varric could hardly breathe. This is impossible." The Guardian answered with another calm message. "This is not a weapon. This is a warning." For the first time in Dominion history, the mighty Empire ordered a full retreat. But before the surviving ships could turn around, a new signal arrived from deep space. Thousands of unknown objects were approaching the battlefield at incredible speed. Even the Guardian remained completely still. It was waiting, because the real war had only just begun. The unknown objects moved closer every second. Every sensor in the galaxy locked onto them. 1, 10, 100. Then the impossible number appeared. 5,000. A wave of fear spread across every command bridge. The Dominion officers believed another human fleet had arrived. Commander Varric tightened his fists. So, humanity was hiding an entire armada. But the Guardian sent a quiet message. "Negative. These are not warships." The strange objects entered the battlefield. They were enormous metal spheres, each covered with ancient human symbols. They surrounded the Guardian without making a sound. Scientists could not understand their purpose. Then the oldest admiral on Earth smiled. "They're finally here." A young officer looked at him. "What are they?" The Guardian was never built to fight alone. Before anyone could ask another question, the metal spheres suddenly opened. Inside each one rested an ancient human battleship. Perfect, untouched, as if they had been waiting for centuries. Across the galaxy, millions watched in complete silence. Every history book had been wrong. Humanity had not hidden one legendary warship. It had hidden an entire forgotten fleet. The Guardian stood at the center while thousands of ancient battleships slowly powered on. Blue lights covered the darkness of space. One by one, the ships formed perfect battle lines without receiving a single order. Commander Varric felt his confidence disappear. This cannot be real." The Guardian finally answered. "The last fleet of Earth has awakened." At that exact moment, another transmission reached every ship in the galaxy. It did not come from humanity. It came from the Dominion Emperor himself. His face appeared on every screen. He looked terrified. There is only one way to stop them. He gave a secret command that had been forbidden for generations. Deep inside Dominion space, a massive prison opened. Something ancient, and far more dangerous than the Guardian, had just been set free. Silence filled the battlefield. The ancient fleet of Earth waited behind the Guardian. Thousands of legendary battleships stood perfectly still, their blue lights shining across the darkness. Then every screen suddenly turned black. A new signal replaced the Dominion Emperor's face. One warning appeared. Containment failure. Far inside Dominion space, a giant prison station exploded. A massive shadow slowly emerged from the wreckage. It was not a warship. It was not alive. It was something in between. The machine was larger than a moon, covered with broken armor and glowing red eyes. Long metal arms stretched through space like the legs of a giant spider. Ancient records called it the Devourer. Thousands of years ago, the first human alliance had defeated it and locked it away forever. But the Dominion had ignored history. They believed they could control it. They were wrong. The Devourer did not attack humanity. It attacked everything. Dominion cruisers were the first to disappear. The giant machine tore through the fleet without slowing down. Battleships that had survived the Guardian were crushed like small pieces of metal. Commander Varric watched in horror. "It has ignored our control codes." The Emperor shouted from his command station. "Destroy it." No weapon worked. The monster continued moving toward Earth. For the first time since awakening, the Guardian changed its course. His deep voice echoed across every channel. Primary mission updated. Protect all life. The ancient fleet immediately followed. Thousands of human battleships accelerated together, surrounding the Devourer from every direction. Every civilization stopped fighting. Humans, aliens, even the remaining Dominion ships. They all watched the same unbelievable sight. The greatest warship ever built was no longer fighting an empire. It was preparing to battle the nightmare that humanity had defeated once before. And this time, the entire galaxy would witness why the Guardian had become a legend.